Joey Halzle, this is a monster year for him, depending on your perspective. I think these downs will help us gain perspective of where our audience is, because I'm not sure Joey Halzle has a big impact on Tennessee one way or another. What should people do, Coop?
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
I went down, Coop.
Coop here. First down.
All right, first down is this, Caleb. Did Joey Halzle hold back Tennessee's offense last year? They lost Alex Golish, and obviously they were better in 22 than 2023. Halzle, some people just don't like. Your thoughts?
No, I don't think he held them back last year. I think, and I'm not going to put this all on Joe Milton. We've done that enough here. But beyond Joe Milton not being a fit for that offense, we're kind of underrating that there was a rash of injuries that hit that team last year. That, I mean, if you had a quarterback who wasn't a fit for your offense, who, by the way, was playing banged up at time, your go-to receiver went down for the season, your starting center missed the first half of the season, your number 3 receiver went down for the season. I mean, let's be honest, you're kind of playing with one hand behind your back.
And let's remember this, too. I don't think they were going to do this, but Nico was a little banged up at the beginning of the season. So let's say Halzle's some offensive genius and he can put together a package to help Tennessee be a better offensive football team. Well, Joe Milton's banged up. He can't run a lot. And then your backup is banged up and he's too young to put in. So, no, I agree with you. I'm not going to bash on Milton, but I don't think it was Joey Halzle's fault. What down, Coop?
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
Does it really matter who Tennessee's offensive coordinator is?
You know, for a while, I would have said no, because this is Josh Heupel's offense. It's Josh Heupel's system, and I think Josh Heupel is very confident in his system. But then I actually thought about their previous 2 offensive coordinators before Halzle, and it was Alex Golish and Jeff Lebby. Both of them had totally different backgrounds. Alex Golish coached at Iowa State for 4 years as a tight ends coach. He was a tight ends coach his whole career in the Big 10 and the Big 12, coaching physical ground and pound teams. Whereas Jeff Lebby before that was in the the Art Briles system. I think both of those brought a different perspective to Josh Heupel that allowed him to do certain creative things at times. The one thing I will say, and I know I'm 180ing myself a lot from what I just said. I just don't think the drop-off last year was Halzle's fault. But I do think one problem with Halzle, he doesn't bring a unique perspective to look at things for Josh Heupel. And I think that, I mean, his whole career was working under Josh Heupel. And I do think that in certain moments that could be a problem.
I don't think it matters. And a lot of this I'm taking from Jimmy Hahn's story that was incredible. I had some unnamed SEC coaches, and it said that Heupel is still way ahead of the curve. So I don't think it matters. I mean, I would like somebody to get me coffee. I would like somebody to do things for me, maybe clean up my office a little bit. But I don't want Joey Halzle creating my offense if I'm Josh Heupel, because I am one of the smartest offensive minds in the nation.
But see that, Dave, that's the thing. But Alex Golish was helping him create the offense, and so was Jeff Lebby, and both of them are head coaches now. And this is the thing. You may be right. It's Josh Heupel's offense, but isn't that kind of an issue where don't you think Alex Golish and Jeff Lebby both help provide a different perspective every now and then? I mean, I'll get just an example. You say Bruce. Let's take basketball. Bruce Pearl's system, the flex offense with the press when he went to the SEC, was so ahead of the curve. That doesn't mean Steve Forbes didn't bring a ton of value to it when he was coaching under Pearl.
Steve Forbes, but Tim Banks is the Steve Forbes of this crew. I mean, Forbes was an excellent defensive coach. And I don't think Pearl went to Forbes and said, help me with this inbounds pass play that I'm really, really good at.
Okay, fair enough, but maybe a bad example then. But I will say, Alex Golish absolutely helped Josh Heupel. You don't think he helped Josh Heupel you don't think when they got under center and handed it off to Princeton Fant in 2022, that was Alex Golish that was behind that?
Yep. And what did South Florida go last year?
7-6.
Which is pretty good. I mean, for first year. So I think he's a pretty solid coach. What town is it, Coop?
Tennessee Center, Cooper Mays here. Third down.
All right, I'm going to get to third down. I'm going to remind everybody it's brought to you by Sports Treasures. Chris Brazel will be at Sports Treasures in North Knoxville on Sunday, and he will be autographing items for you. We'll have more information with Zach Hare of Sports Treasures, over 5 million sports treasures, and so much more. Follow on Facebook for the best in sports memorabilia. And third down is, do you expect Halzle to bring new ideas to the table?
No. And you see, that's the problem. That is Joey Halzle is. It's funny. Jimmy Hyams talked about this yesterday with Nick Saban. He said the difference with Kirby Smart and like a Jeremy Pruitt is Kirby Smart is his own person, and Jeremy Pruitt tried to just replicate Nick Saban. Well, why is that? Jeremy Pruitt had been totally like developed in the Nick Saban way, which is weird because he had coached under Mark Richt and Jimbo Fisher, and even won a national championship with Jimbo Fisher. But it seemed like he just was nothing but a Saban protege. So when he goes to Tennessee, and Derek Dooley too, by the way, his whole career as an assistant was under Saban as a major on-field assistant. And so they both have no ideas of what to do beyond what Saban wants to do. And you feel like Joey Halzle's that with Heupel. All Joey Halzle knows how to do is repeat what Heupel does. And I've always said this, you never want a guy who just repeats what the person he worked under did, because you can never repeat what the person you worked under did. Alabama learned that with Bear Bryant. Tennessee learned that hiring Geno Nealon disciples and hiring Pat Summitt disciples, to be fair.
Joey Halzle is blank, an anchor, just fine. That's our question on the YouTube page. We want you to answer that. If you haven't hit like yet, please do so, and be sure and be subscribed. You'll get that special guest this afternoon. Coop, again, what should people do?
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
Thanks, Coop.
All SEC center Cooper Mays here. Fourth down.
Joey Halzle will be a head coach, yay or nay? One day. Let me quantify that just a little bit. Let's say group of 5 or higher. I don't mean high school coach.
Yeah, he's going to get a shot. He's going to get a shot because he's coaching Nico for the next 2 years. And let's just be honest, coaching Nico is going to do a lot for you.
I hate it when you talk me out of my argument in the middle of it. He doesn't strike me as head coaching material. Is that fair?
No, he's the offensive Brent Venables.
Okay. The offensive as a head coach, I got you. But they were both good coordinators. I think Venables was I think Venables was a better coordinator than.
You actually might be right, because Venables actually is a good defensive coach. That's a good point. Maybe I'll take that back.
Well, you're having a rough day in comparison. Sorry.
I'm off today, guys.
Here's what I expect. What I expect out of Joey Halzle and whoever's in the offensive coordinator position. And I think Tennessee was fortunate that they got out an Alex Golish, like you mentioned, that brought things to the table. I expect you to coach my quarterback and his fundamentals to an absolute T. No pun intended. He needs to be perfect. I don't want to look at him and see his elbow drop. I don't want to look at him and see bad footwork. He is essentially my quarterback coach. He gets the OC so that I can give him a little more money because I like him, but he doesn't need to be telling the receivers what to do. He doesn't need to be telling the offensive line, of course, on what to do. They have great coaching. He needs to make sure that Nico or whoever the quarterback might be in question is perfect fundamentally. Caleb, bless you. And that's what I expect out of Joey Halzle. And that's it.
I agree. I totally agree. That's exactly what I expect out of him too. It's funny though. Like, say Joey Halzle does go out and get another job somewhere else. Say Josh Heupel wins a national title with Nico, and the NFL comes calling, and Josh Heupel just can't resist. I know you don't. I know you think he'll say, but just engage me for a minute. Say he can't resist, or say Oklahoma finally cuts ties with Bob Stoops, fires Brent Venables, and rolls out the red carpet for him, and literally does a "we're sorry" welcoming tour for Josh Heupel, literally when people have these signs we're sorry, we owe you, and you are our Lord and Savior, and something like that, to where he finally will go home to Oklahoma. If Tennessee then is in the market for a head coach, they're in a position where they could just take an Alex Golish or a Jeff Lebby. Do you think Joey Halzle would ever be on that list? If they wanted to keep the Heupel offense going?
It depends if he coaches. There were times that I thought David Cutcliffe and John Chavis would be reaches as head coach, and I was obviously wrong on one of them, but right on the other. And then I saw them mature over the years as coaches, and I definitely thought David, he would be great. So I guess it's really in how he matures. I would have trouble answering that question. I can tell you if that happened, that there's no question in my mind. If they just promoted from within, Tennessee's fan base would freak.
Probably. It hardly ever. I'll say this. I'm not one of those like, oh, following a legend. You can't do that. I don't say that. I will say whenever you promote from within and try to keep the same system going, developed by the previous head coach, that never works because not everybody, that head coach is unique, right? I mean, they can't. Yeah. So, but I would say like an Alex Golish who's proven he can do it out somewhere else. I think an Alex Golish or Jeff Levy, you could probably get both Heupel disciples. Nice rhyme. And then, but their own guy, their own person, and would take Tennessee job relative to where they're at now. Sorry, Mississippi State. I know you're in the SEC, but if Tennessee comes calling, a coach is leaving Mississippi State.